Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Saturday tier. I almost forgot what I was going to say. I'm going to say it again though, so we can get this right. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Saturday tier, the Brazilian Grand Prix. We are going to go for full qualifying today with a 35% distance. Still managed to miss out percent. A 35% distance race. Now, the thing is, obviously, this isn't enough for a full quali situation. So we will be moving straight to Q2. People just set a random lap, softs or inters, whatever they want to do. And then, yeah, they can move up, of course. So that's the situation as it is now. And then we'll be good to go. So that will be fine. Yeah, Q2 will be next. We'll be sorted. Alright, sorry for all the delay there, just trying to sort a few things. And maybe a little bit of confusion. Not really entirely sure what's going on. These two still out on track at the moment, just trying to complete their lap, and then I think they'll be into the pit lane. Yeah, they should be all good to go, and you're just having some fun with these tyres, of course, while they make their way to the pit lane and retire the car so we can start Q2 a little bit earlier than we would have anticipated. I mean, the lobby started a little bit late anyway, so overall it kind of suits itself. Not entirely sure what Nipajan is doing, but okay. They're staying out to do more laps, so that does mean everybody's going to have to sit and watch them. It's not exactly against the rules, but it's not what we were intending on doing at all. So we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. We'll give them another lap, and then when we get to the end of this lap, we'll see if we need to sort anything out. But yeah, hopefully they can go into the pit lane, and then we'll be good to go for the next session, because currently everybody is waiting. Mikash joins the lobby, so hopefully they can get in. And then we should be good to see some decent qualifying lap times, and we will actually have a Q2 that will knock a few people out. Alrighty. There you go. That is the situation done after a little bit of a wait. Finally, we're good to go. Alrighty. We'll wait for Zingy and Mikash to retire the car, and then we'll be absolutely dandy. No worries. I don't think we actually need to set lap times, to be honest. I think you could probably just retire the car and then move to the next one. Some people do prefer to. I don't know if you even need to set a lap time. Regardless, you could probably just do an out lap and then come straight back in. But we'll see. We'll see. Alrighty. Just wait a little bit longer, and then we'll be good to go. These guys are currently sitting in the pit lane, so we are kind of at the mercy of them.
After hosting a non-championship GP in 72, the attendance of over 100,000.
All right.
The FIA agreed to host a championship GP the following year. The 1973 Brazilian GP was won by none other than Emerson Fittipaldi on his home circuit.
Sorry for the wait. I do apologise. We'll be good to go very, very shortly. Don't worry. We'll be good to go very, very shortly.
The current venue is now officially officially known as the Autodrome Jose Carlos Pace, after the famous Brazilian driver of the 1970s who had
Alright.
his first and only win in Sao Paulo.
Mikash will be retired, I'm sure, in a minute. Hopefully we don't have to wait 3 whole minutes.
One of many things Sao Paulo is known for is its largest
But I'm not
continental
entirely
population.
sure
The city
what
is
their
also
intentions
the
are.
highest concentration
Anyway,
of Japanese
Brazil.
population.
It's an interesting circuit. It's one that
Outside of
is
Japan,
usually pretty entertaining. Lots of overtaking opportunities, but also overtaking opportunities can create some pretty strong DRS trains, which therefore does make it very difficult for the race leader to actually break away. We could see some decent battles here, and we could see some people that usually aren't at the top maybe hold on to a battle and stay with the front of the pack. I'm going to assume that we're going to be having a dry race based on the fact that people have said that they are going to the Inters for Q1. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't want to waste any tyres. That is the grid right now. I'm not really going to go through it because it's literally not representable of the situation. So we'll wait for this lobby to load into Q2, and then we'll be ready for the actual action. I cannot wait. This is going to be very interesting. Alrighty, welcome back to the LSI summer season. We're now ready for Q2. Let's get it underway. Last time we did full qualifying. That must have been, 2020 game? Maybe even 2019 game at Bahrain. I remember the race. I don't remember the game that we did it in. It must have been the 2020 game. It can't have been the 2019 game. But yeah. No, maybe it was 21. Anyway, 21, 2020, 2019. It wasn't in the 22 game, I can tell you that for sure, but it was at the Bahrain circuit. That's the last time we saw Q1, 2, and 3 come about. Other than that, it's all been short because, you know, it makes it a little bit more intense. You've only got one opportunity to get the lap, one session to get a lap in. Right now, they have 3 sessions to get a lap in. Of course, the first session was pretty much invalid, so no one really needs to worry about that. The bottom 2 out of Q2 will be dropped out, so they need to make sure that they jump their way up the order and get themselves in, otherwise it's not going to go well. Something that's been very interesting to a lot of people, of course, is the fact that the new patch has brought out some very, very weird tyre simulation situations. Basically, certain cars, even though they're on equal performance, will just perform worse than other cars. To put it to the exact example, Red Bull is the fastest, Ferrari is the slowest. Everything in between, it kind of like is a gradual slide down. Basically, Aston and Red Bull are absolutely rapid. Ferrari, Haas, Alfa Romeo, all the way to the bottom. Anyway, shouldn't be too much of a big deal, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't really create that much of an issue. A new patch, I'm sure, will be available soon, and then we should get that all sorted. It was a thing in the last game, but because of the new tyre model this game, where the drop-off is much more significant, it does make it a little bit more tricky. JJ goes for the first lap of the session on the hard tyre, immediately beaten by Les Jacks, who goes and does a 9.8 above that hard tyre run. Zingy is also going to try and get a lap in on the intermediate tyres. If I'm correct in believing, I think he said he's not going to qualify, he's going to start last. So that'll be only one person who will be knocked out of qualifying. It depends though, he might change his mind, I'm sure. We'll see that later on if he does. A 10.4 for Flashy, and Gilly, interestingly, also going for that situation. Flashy retires after setting that initial lap, so they're thinking that they probably have got that one done. They retired on track, so that's not exactly ideal, but it's been done, so that's how it goes. But yeah, interesting situations at the moment. We've also got an issue of a Haas who is pretty much stationary, and I don't really know why they are stationary. They're moving out the way of somebody. That was very interesting. I can't really explain that. I'm a little bit lost for words. Anyway, let's carry on with qualifying. Some people are going to need to put somewhat decent lap times in. It's a risk if you want to try and let that one go, of course. Flashy moving out the way of the other cars, so good to see them sort themselves out. Awesome, awesome. Everybody else, they're just trying to get something in at least. I think the next lot of drivers that are to cross the line are going to be both Haas's, then Flashy. Is Flashy starting another lap, or are they going into the pit lane? They're starting another lap, or they're starting a second lap on this tyre. So they're really going to try and extend these, or this set at least. So that is something that is pretty interesting, okay? It's, never mind. Speech gone wrong. Completely, absolutely ruined it. Right. Let me try and figure that one out again. Okay, so because we've got 3 sessions in qualifying, it does mean that you need to try and extend those tyres and save some for Q3. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do that. That being said, we did pretty much miss out Q1, so these guys should have some pretty decent tyres to go through the entire qualifying session, Q2 and Q3. But still, trying to extend it if they can. If they're going to improve, then it's definitely worth it. If they come around the final few corners here and they're not improving, then they might as well just enter the pit lane. There's no point in carrying on. They go into the pit lane as they prove that indeed. So, yeah, it was worth a shot. He was trying to extend everything he can on his tyres, but in the end it didn't quite work out. Zingy is once again on that intermediate tyre. Ziggy goes for a P1 position, so good job from him. Devon Young leads the way, an 8.7. Well done indeed. They top the times at the moment. Mikash follows them with a P3 position, a 9.4. And we've got a couple more soft tyre runners. We've got Gilly, who's finally got a set of softs on. We've got Robbo, who is on a... Are they on a lap or an out lap? I wanted to say that they would be on an out lap, but it looks like they are on a lap. They are pushing with the ERS. They're holding it far to the left-hand side. Let's see. Purple in the first sector. I don't doubt that for a second. And they pull it nice and tight to the left-hand side. Gradually transition to the right. And Andrews, by the way, has got into the lead. And that was an Alpha Tauri in the way. That would have been Ziggy, unfortunately, impeding the robber of Williams. So he's going to be pretty furious of that one. It's going to hinder him a little bit, and he'll be somewhat frustrated throughout the rest of the lap, which is never good for time gain, but he still has a valid lap going at the moment, and that's what he needs to focus on. So he'll come around the final few corners and he'll be good to go. He'll set something and get a lap on the board. Let's see what it is for Robbo as he crosses the line. How far away from End Andrews will he be? He's going to drop behind Devon Young, actually, with that with that impeding situation. So yeah, End Andrews an 8.2 earlier on. Very good job indeed from them. Yesterday's qualifying is a little bit hard to go by because not only is it a short qualifying session, it's also the race was wet, so qualifying is going to be kind of changed up, because if you've got a wet setup on or an adjusted dry setup, you're going to be slower in qualifying. Alrighty, Ziggy is going again, it seems, on this tyre, or are they? They don't have enough energy to actually do so they're going to have to go into the pit lane after this one. We've got Flashy, who is currently, I believe, on an outlap. They are, I can confirm. I don't really know while I was trying to question that. 8 tenths up from JJ as the internet once again plagues us from last week. He's just trying to secure his position. Zingy is probably going to drop out of qualifying. There's Gilly going across the line to get a P4. But yeah, Zingy's probably going to drop out. Only one other person is going to drop out at the moment is Nifajan, but he's coming around the final corner to start his final, probably lap. Yeah, no, he's starting a lap. Okay, and he's unfortunately hit the grass, and that is going to be that lap time aborted. He'll probably have to stay on this tyre and carry on. Dave Raptor's not got anything in yet. Both Mercedes going very late into this session to try and get something down. We'll watch on board as we see the yellow stripe Mercedes go through the first few corners, bringing it wide as they run down to turn 4. Interesting. Don't try and minimise the track distance. That's a strategy that sometimes people use, but only usually sim in the wet, to be honest. Pulling it to the left-hand side, gradually to the right to try and minimise any scrubbing, and then we get up the hill, stick it in 7th, and then down to 6th with the engine braking. They actually managed to get to 5th, which is definitely on preference as you go down the hill into 2nd, believe it or not, up to 3rd, and trying to get on the power, having to go to 4th momentarily. You want to try and get a bit of rear locking to get the car rotated if you can through that kind of technical section of the circuit. One final major corner, make sure you don't ride the grass, otherwise you will be in big trouble. And now you've got the final few kinks to go. Don't ride the curb too hard, otherwise you'll bottom out completely. Just ride it like that, like Dave Rapp just did, and hold it to the left-hand side to minimise that track distance. Across the line, what's it going to be? That's going to be an 8.6. That'll be enough to sit him in P2 by 4 tenths, and a 10th gap between himself and Devon Young. That is going to be him good for qualifying. Nifajan unfortunately invalidates on their 2nd run on this tyre, so they're going to be in a bit of trouble here, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get out of Q2, unfortunately. Next driver to be knocked out of Q2, if it wasn't Nifajan, would be JJ. He's currently in the pit lane. He's fitted a set of soft tyres, so he's actually on his way out to try and make sure that he doesn't get knocked out. If Nifajan does get a solid lap in, then maybe Les Jacks would actually be in trouble and they retired a little bit too early. I think they're probably good to go. JJ is going to be pretty quick now compared to their hard tyre runners. I'm not really sure why they went on for a hard tyre run, to be honest, but they wanted to give it a shot, I guess. Soft tyres on that red Ferrari, though, to match the colour, not the pace. Lots of lag, which is very, very interesting. We had it last week, but it doesn't seem that other drivers are lagging too much. So I think they should be okay. They've just retired from the session confident with that lap. Nifo, Jan and JJ, the only ones on track. Actually, Gilly is also on track. Despite being pretty safe, he's not going to need to do any more to actually secure his position. Nifo Jan just trying to get a clean lap in right now. 5 tenths up in the first sector, or 5 tenths down in the first sector, but still within track limits. If they can just get the lap through, then they'll be able to definitely push themselves up in front of Zingy, who is actually DQ'd now. They might be able to get JJ, but with a big mistake like that, it's going to be incredibly difficult. Once again, just tapping the grass, which is a big struggle. Nifajan trying their best to use no line, which is very, very hard if you're not used to it. It's very easy for some people that are just kind of learning with it from the beginning with no line, but for someone that uses line to then switch off it is tricky indeed, and that's what they're trying to do. So that does explain their situation. They're going to just give up on that lap, and that is going to be them out of this session. They're going to be in P11. They're actually parking in the pit entry, which they don't actually need to do because they're already in pretty much the drop zone. I think they're trying to get behind Zingy in the order. There's a bit of a competition to start last. Ziggy actually is out of the pit lane. So is Robbo, interestingly. I'm not entirely sure what their plan is here. I think they're convinced that maybe Nifo was going for an improvement lap. Obviously, they've pitted and they have DQ'd themselves. So these guys just going on an out lap for not really much of a reason. Robbo has gone on an old tyre, so has Mikash. And Ziggy's gone on to a fresh set of tyres, which is, yeah, pretty confusing, I'm not going to lie. JJ secures his place, didn't really need to set that lap time in the end. Let's check this. I'm going to say somewhat lucky that they managed to get into the session there. That could have been a big problem if they didn't carry on. Alrighty. Right, Q2 is pretty much done. We could see some changes in position, but it's not going to matter. Knockout-wise, we're just going to be as we are. JJ into the pit lane. No, he's okay. He is into the pit lane. Lovely internet from JJ's side there. Hopefully it doesn't impact us in the race session. Mika's still going for a lap despite the session being over and they being safe. They want to make sure that they stay in it, which is kind of fair enough to a certain extent, but for the most part they don't really need to worry. We'll see what lap time they can set, how far up the leaderboard can they go for their final run in qualifying, across the line, and the time will be only by down half a tenth. They're not actually going to improve at all. And we'll see Ziggy going across the line for the final time. This is going to be the final lap in qualifying. And across the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be a 0.1. A 9.1, I think that was, if I'm correct in saying. Or was that a 10.1? I'm not quite sure. Alrighty, that is the situation as it is. The top 10 go through, and Andrews tops Q2 with Dave Raptors in P2 and then Gilly stats in P3. That is the rest of the grid. We'll skim through the race director just in case if we need to a little bit later on. And then we'll be back for Q3. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for Q3. We're already ready to go, and Andrews has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane entry. What a exit, sorry. What a shame. I did not expect that one. That is an early exit to Q3 for him. He's not going to be able to get anywhere near pole position. He'll have to start 10th. That was a little bit of a surprise, to be honest. I didn't realise that was going on while he had the HUD off. But that is how it's gone. JJ is rejoining the session again. That's going to be an interesting one. The Mercedes, very, very close right there. That was a situation and a half. They've got to make sure that they don't do that again. That was actually Robbo who was impeded there. So they were impeded earlier on, and now they've impeded somebody else potentially. Anyway, the Alfa Romeo carries on through, a 52.2 in the second sector. Purple in the middle sector, so they're going to be the first one to set their lap. Let's see what the benchmark will be. DRS available right now, and just waiting for the line, holding it to the left, actually going to the middle of the circuit, and that'll be a 9.108 to set the pace for the first session in qualifying. Dave Raptors immediately takes that one with a 9.051, so goes about half a tenth quicker. Can we get to the 7s? How far into the 8s can we go? That's my question. I don't even know if the 7s are possible. I'm not really up to scratch too much with this game yet. I think the 7s are possible because Gilly's just gone and done a 8.6 very early on in the session, so it can definitely change. Robbo has got a little tow from his teammate, which is always good to help with your lap, of course, as long as you don't miss your braking point. Devon Young in 8.3, so we can get to the 7s. The question is, how far into the 7s can we go? Through the middle sector now, not cutting the inside too hard. It is only their first lap. They just need to try and get something done, and then they can push on their second and final lap of the session. Usually you would only go for 2 laps in a Q3 kind of style situation. You'll only really have enough tyres for 2 laps, of course. But here we go, final major corner on the throttle. Nicely done, very, very smooth there for Robbo. Got a couple more corners to go, and he will be good. Let's see what that pace is like. Is it going to be enough for a provisional pole position in the Mercedes? It's not. It's not. It's going to be what? Huh? It said 20 seconds down, and they did a 9.73, so if they made a mistake, I must have missed something majorly. They must have lived it off, or they've just had a bit of a terrible middle sector potentially. That is not impossible, but I just wasn't expecting that. Okay, well that's that situation sorted. Flash currently with a P7 time at the moment, as they're improving, it says, by 3 seconds. As they're trying to go for another lap, they go off the circuit, they lift, they lose time, they still keep the lap valid. They'll go now through the second sector to try and just set something that's a little bit closer to the competitive times, as they must have made a pretty big mistake on their first lap. So did they even have enough time to charge their battery? It doesn't look like they actually did, unfortunately. Hold on a second, I just want to quickly double check something. I do apologise. I don't think there's anything I can actually do. No, I just wanted to see if I could change the camera settings because they're pretty zoomed in, but I can't, so we'll just leave it for the next time around. Well, that is the Alpine setting a 9.2, so they've got a lap time in. So decent enough for now. They've got 5 minutes on the clock to go to the pit lane and prepare for their final run of the session. Jack's already out. Ziggy, I think, is out to set their first lap of the session. So we'll see what those guys can do. Ziggy, of course, is going to start their lap very shortly. But this guy, he set his lap first. He's going out again already. Now, if he's got enough tyres to do so, which he well might have because he only set 1 lap in Q2, he will be able to use this run, see how quick it is, and if he's not happy with the lap, he can then go straight into the pit lane for a fresh set and go for 1 final run. So, does he commit to this lap, or does he go for a final run? That is the question. That is the luxury that he has with his tyre situation at the moment. I mean, believe it or not, he might actually have enough time to go for this lap and then again entirely, but I don't really know if that would be worth the stress, to be honest. We'll go through Sector 1 and see what he's doing. DRS available. You'll head down to the corner, heavy braking, and you want to try and straddle the curb as much as you can, but you want to be carrying the speed. They don't go over the inside curb too much. They ride the outside curb to try and carry all that momentum that they gained on the straight. That is an absolutely crucial part of the circuit. Not riding the inside of turn 6, but still going for it pretty quickly, cutting the inside hard on turn 8. Turn 9, going up the hill now to turn... that's not 10, is it? Yeah, it is 10. It's something like 10. 10, 11, and then 12, and then 13, and 14, I think this is. So yeah, this is turn 12, if I'm correct in saying. 14, 15. Anyway, regardless, very confusing end to the lap, but they're going to get their final lap done. They are going to complete it. They would have enough time to go in again if they want to. They're up by 2/10, so will they make that decision to carry on and go for that final run? We have Ziggy, who's gone and done a P4 lap time in 8.8, so well done to him. Very good job. First lap of the session, the only EA driver in the lobby right now. They are currently representing EA in P4. They're not actually representing EA. I don't want to be in legal trouble for that. They're just an EA platform driver. Just to clarify. Alright. Very easy to lock the rears, as we saw yesterday, and Andrews locking the rears as he went into the pit lane in the intermediate conditions. I do apologise, just going to quickly look through that. That's good to go. We do now have the Haas of Gilly. He's going to be out first to set his final lap of the session. What time can they set? That's the question. And I'm still interested to see if Les Jacks can have enough time to go into the pit lane and come back out again. They're going around the final few corners to get to the pit lane. It'll be so tight. Luckily, it's a short lap around here. It's not impossible, but they will have to push to the absolute maximum on their outlap, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but around a circuit like this, the one outlap that you get is very hard to warm up the tyres, at least in previous games it has been. This game, not so much, but you want to try and take your time to work those tyres in. Alright, here we go. Haas with Gilly, the only Haas in Q3 at the moment. They're going to try and get the job done right now. Let's see if they can maybe chase another win in their career. Through turn 1, riding the inside curb nicely to get that rotation on the exit. Turn 4, gear 4, not gear 5 as we did in the last game. They do have a car in front of them. Hopefully that won't disrupt them too much. Of course, we've got a bit of understeer as you go into turn 4. Not a massive problem too much. That's an interesting situation right there. A little bit distracting for Gilly, but at least they moved out the way, so they shouldn't be worried too much. They'll be good to go. That is Les Jacks retiring from the session. They decided they're not going to go out again, so that is going to be their benchmark lap time. Let's find out. Oh, big mistake, and I think that might be it for Gilly. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back from that one. He's going to try and save a bit of energy. You can see he's trying to keep the tyres up to temperature and save at least some ERS and go for one final run. It'll be a very difficult task to do so. We've got Devon Young warming up his tyres to try and get everything he possibly can ready to his final lap, and everybody's pretty much slowing down at the final few corners. It's a bit of a traffic jam right now, so yeah, very difficult to manage. Devon Young starting their lap. Let's see what they can get done here. Of course, they've done that 8.3, so they are currently on provisional pole position. And Andrews, who we know is very quick, unfortunately, has been disqualified from the session, so they're not going to be doing anything. Lap time wise, alrighty, in Sector 2, up the hill, and let's make a bit of a descent as we go down into turn 9. Nice and smooth on the steering, nice and smooth on the throttle, but it's not smooth enough. They got a bit of a kick, and their rear goes over track limits. That's going to be it for Devon Young. He will not be able to improve. We have next up, I think it's going to be Ziggy, who's going to try and improve. Gilly also will go across the line for the final time. Let's see if their lap time does change. No, they go into the pit lane. That's going to be it for them. Ziggy makes a mistake on the final corner, and that is going to be it for them now. We have Flashy, who will be up next, currently in P7. They might be able to give it a shot. We don't know how much they're improving by at the moment, but across the line they will go. That's qualifying finish, and that'll be up by just under half a tenth. And Dave Raptors goes pole position, and 8.366, so close with Devon Young. Robbo jumps his way up, still a way off pole position, but that is an absolutely tiny margin. Very well done to Dave Raptors to get that one, and what a shame for Devon Young, who was holding on to pole for such a long time, but unfortunately misses out. Alrighty, that is the session done. Dave Raptors gets pole position, Devon Young in P2, and Robbo in P3. That is the grid. We'll go through the race director just in case if we need to. I've not gone through the pit stops, although we don't really need to because it's qualifying. It doesn't matter. Look at that gap. Absolutely tiny stuff right there. Alright, we'll be back in a minute for the race. We'll see you there. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Saturday tier, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's get ready to go racing around Sao Paulo. I'm going to attempt to say it, Autodromo Carlos Pace, I think? I don't know. I'm really sorry. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. But I know who is good at something going for pole position. Dave Raptors goes and sets the pace in qualifying, gets that front row pole position grid slot. I'm saying pole position way too many times. Dave Raptors leads the way. That's what's the situation going to look like. Blah, 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 blah. Let's try and get all of that out. Hold on a minute. Right. Okay. We're good to go. Medium tyres for everybody except from 2 drivers, P6 and 7, Ziggy and Lesjax. An interesting situation. Lots of people going for that medium soft because that's probably going to be pretty straightforward. 35% distance race, it's not going to be bad to go for a hard tyre, but it's just going to be very conservative, that's for sure. And with a train like you do get around this kind of circuit, I don't think the hard is the way to go. But we may be surprised, you never know. I'm not going to put it down just yet because it can definitely change things up. Different strategies can always work. Pioneers can look heroes or fools, and regardless of what they look like, they will be saluted because they're trying to give it their best shot. Alright, everybody getting to the grid now, and then we'll be good to go. Just a few more cars left. Unfortunately, Gilly has left the session, so hopefully they can get back in very shortly. Alrighty, hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, because we're about to go racing for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Gilly's AI will jump the start, but we're finally away. There you go. Dave Raptors not really getting a great start. Devon Young will lead the Grand Prix as we head into turn one. Perfect stuff. The two Mercedes slotting behind side by side. Who is that? Is that already Ziggy? No, it's Ziggy. It's not Zingy. Ziggy is right there. That is a mistake. Unfortunately, Zingy wasn't able to make a very good start. They're going to have to try a little bit harder now after a bit of an issue. Nifojan side by side with the Ferrari of JJ. They managed to get the better of them and they jump up the order. Perfect stuff. Unfortunately, both Les Jackson and Ziggy has lost out a little bit, so the medium tire runners not exactly a surprise, but it's happened and that'll be the situation. Gilly, are they back in the lobby or not? I'm not quite sure, but hopefully for their sake, they kind of drop back down the order a bit and we don't need to worry about giving a post-race penalty because we don't want that to happen. Because obviously it's not really fair if they gain this advantage. But we'll see when they get back into their car, of course. Devon Young leads the way. Perfect start from him. Dave Raptors just squirming off the line. Maybe a little bit distracted by the fact that the AI of Gilly jumped the start. Easily done to get distracted by that kind of thing. But anyway, that's how it goes. And now that is going to be Devon Young finally leading the race. Gilly is going to be right there, but ghosted just about. Now they're going to be a solid car. Got to be careful that they don't take each other out here. I don't know what Gilly's going to do. I can't remember where they started. We'll have a quick look to see the positions gained. So they've actually gained one position. Not that much, but still, it is some sort of a game. We'll see. We'll figure it out later on. But anyway, that's the situation as it is. We're going to look a little bit further back as we see Neferjan. And was that either JJ or Flashy switching positions? I think JJ managed to get back through on the heart of Neferjan. We've got Zingy right behind here. He wants to try and look for a move already. He is going to go for a bit of a send and a bit of a squeeze as well. That is going to be Flashy backing off with no choice to do anything other than that. End Andrews up to P5. Good start from him. Well done. We're about to start lap 3. And yeah, everybody pretty close together. Zingy had a little bit more hard work to get done, of course, after that slight issue that he had before. Nobody going for an overtake just yet into turn 1. We might see somebody go side by side a little bit further behind, but I think we're just going to keep it pretty civil for now. Devon Young doing a great job. 7/10 in front at the moment. DRS is about to kick in. It's already kicked in. So it's going to be a little bit harder for him to stay in front for too long. He's going to be working pretty hard in every situation. And Andrews now leaves the session, so that's more issues for many, many people, unfortunately. Dave Raptors sitting in P2. He's probably just thinking, I hope that doesn't happen to me. As long as it happens to other people, then we're good to go. He joins back and hopefully doesn't lose too much like he did last week, of course. It looks like we're going to be turning formation lap off for the next race and praying that that is enough to keep things as they are and make sure that we don't have to drop back to just steam. Oh, big crash behind. Big crash. That's going to be Zingy, JJ, and Flashy all involved. Flashy's got damage. Zingy, does he have damage? I don't know. He's going into the pit lane. He does have damage on his car. What a shame. Oh, no. JJ, I think maybe just did he spin in front and cause Thingy to go into the back of him? Flash, he just couldn't see because he was blocked by the car in front of him. I don't know, but onto the hard tyre, new front wing, and a 5-second time penalty to both Flashy and JJ as they misjudged their speed entering the pit lane. All hard tyres for them right now. Lots of stuff going on. Dave Raptors must have had a couple of issues because they've made a mistake. They're now 1.1 seconds behind Devon Young, who is doing an absolutely amazing drive at the moment. Phenomenal stuff from him. Gilly holding onto that P3 position. Robbo's going to be right there. It's not a bad place to be for Robbo, of course. You're sitting behind just relaxing at the moment. He does need to make sure that he is close enough to jump on Gilly if you can, and I only say that because these guys are teammates. But Devon Young, as we were saying, is doing such a good job. He makes a mistake, and now Dave Raptors is going to be hunting down that P1 already. Gilly is also going to try and get involved in this situation, I think, to the outside line. No, he's not. He's a little bit too far back. He can see it happen in the distance, and that is going to be Dave Raptors taking the advantage of that one. DRS, will it be available for Devon Young? It will be available. Energy, not so much. He's still going to have a look to the outside line, but the space wasn't there. There's contact. Dave Raptors off the circuit. Gilly watching behind. Can he have a go here on the Red Bull? But the Mercedes is through. That is Robbo to the outside line all of a sudden. Where did he come from? He's managed to get around the outside alongside. Gilly's trying to hold on the best they can. Now to the inside line will Robbo go. Gilly's held on to the position, and that is going to be Robbo having to wait behind and be a little bit patient. That is absolutely crazy right there. Devon Young, I'm saying something right now. That was absolutely incredible for him to hold on to P2 because he almost lost everything. Almost lost everything. The energy that he's got to try and break away that gap, he used a lot of it pretty much immediately. And Andrews right behind this battle here. Devon Young is going back for the race lead. I don't think that Dave Raptors is going to fight that too hard because he'll get DRS as we head to turn 4. He knows the energy situation. He's been sat behind Devon Young just a couple laps ago, so he should be good to go. And yeah, to the outside line, I think he might secure the position before the corner. Still has to leave the space as Devon Young is trying to break as late as he can. Squabbling on the exit is Dave Raptors, and up the hill he is going to try and stick his nose in. The space is left. Surely the momentum is not going to be there. No, he's going to have to sit behind now. You can see End Andrews trying to have a look left, right. It's not working. These guys are way too wide, all trying to fight each other. It could get very, very hairy if somebody makes one little mistake. If you try and overtake when there are other cars close in front, you might miss your braking point. Is that going to be End Andrews sending it to the inside line at the final corner? He will not. He's just going to stay conservative, not looking for the move right away. He might have a go here. He's using the energy. Robbo, will he be reacting to that? He will. But once again, End Andrews reacting to that again. I think Devon Young is going to go for the lead for another time to the inside. End Andrews will go, trying to break as late as he can. Luckily for him, Gilly leaves the space. End Andrews to the curb, but he's through. He's got the job done. DRS is still a drag race. Dave Raptors once again trying to get into the lead of the race. I think he's got it done this time. There's going to be no contest. End Andrews slots himself into P4 after a very, very, very tough fight. Epic battling going on right now. Very well done. Zingy on the fresh set of tyres goes for a fastest lap while these guys battle, slowing each other down, but it's still very entertaining, and it's for the top positions. Absolutely perfect. This is what a 35% distance race should be. Absolutely epic. Dave Raptors, as I was explaining in qualifying, he leads the way, but it's not easy to break away from the pack because everybody is just in a train. Let's see who can get the best exit. End Andrews pretty close to the back of Gilly, just trying to do exactly the same that he did to Rob, I'm sure, on the last lap. But energy-wise, it's not looking so straightforward. That is going to be Devon Young getting a clean run on Dave Raptors right there. End Andrews is going to have a look to try and send it to the inside of the Williams. He will get the job done as Gilly just backs off. Doesn't even try and fight it. He's trying to just stay with the train, and he should be good to go. Devon Young this time getting a phenomenal turn 3, and into 4. He's not going to have a challenge. Dave Raptors is just going to sit there and let that one go. I don't think he actually really had any choice. He wasn't close enough to get anything done. Devon Young, perfect overtake right there. Got it done early into turn 1, and then he could focus on himself. So fair play to him. And Andrews is going to be right behind, and he's looking for some moves, of course. He's pretty pacey in that car right now. Oh, bit of contact, as that looks like maybe Dave Raptor's squirming on the throttle, which is not ideal, and it's going to allow End Andrews to see him as vulnerable, and he might want to go for a move sooner rather than later. Saving a lot of ERS on one lap is End Andrews. He's going to be pretty much good to go to try and attempt an overtake. They're not going to get close enough now because obviously Dave Raptors has that clean advantage. By being in P2, it's a lot easier to overtake the car in the lead, and I think he might even be going for it. Maybe End Andrews is going to try and make it 3 wide and nab the lead in one corner. It might be possible. He'll try and get it on the exit if he's going to give it a shot. Dave Raptors trying to go to the outside line. The space is just about left, and End Andrews getting a bit too greedy. Goes off the circuit. Gilly has to take avoiding action. So does Robbo. And End Andrews, a bit of a failed attempt, is now down to P5. Very, very, very risky on the throttle. He wanted to get it down as soon as possible, but it didn't work out. And now he's going to have to try and gain all that time that he just gained a minute ago. Lots of pit stops going on. That is going to be Mikash into the pit lane. I think he recently just got a time penalty for speeding into the pit lane, possibly. Closest after that is Ziggy. And that's Jackson Zingy who's made a pit stop. So those two hard tyre runners are staying out of trouble and they're not too far away. So they're pretty good to go at the moment. Battle of the race leaders pulling out as late as he possibly could, Dave Raptors. Devon Young is just trying to play the game of life right here. There's a long way to go in this race. DRS will be available for him. Is he going to just try and sit behind this time, or is he going to go for the move again? He's got to be really careful because he might be threatened by Gilly if he doesn't do one thing or the other. Gilly, though, is going to sit behind this time. They're not really close enough to do anything. I think they're just going to be harvesting the energy at this point. Lap 10 out of 25. We could see a pit stop within the next few laps. I assume that it will probably be on about lap 15, maybe about lap 17. Other than that, we're just going to be staying as we are. Pretty straightforward pit window for Brazil. It's just that you're going onto the soft tyre instead of the more traditional hard to medium. Alrighty, bit of a mistake there from Devon Young. That's going to allow Gilly to get nice and close. Devon Young going to use everything he possibly can in that battery to make sure that he doesn't lose this valuable P2 position. He's now going to put the pressure on, almost on himself, to go for that move. No ERS left and a bit of a scuffed run, unfortunately. Gilly, despite being in P3, is going to be close enough, and he's trying to get the move done on the grass, but it's not going to work out like that, unfortunately. What an effort. Dave Raptors is going to slot through. Gilly wanted to have a go to the inside, but Devon Young was already there and blocked it off. He tried to just dip 2 wheels in the grass and see if he could carry the momentum, but unfortunately, it's not that straightforward. You can't really gain speed on a patch of grass. Dave Raptors will take that lead. He almost lost it. Gilly had such amount of overspeed right there. He would have had that lead into turn 4. He would have just been in the lead of the race, no question about it. He's going to have to try and do something a little bit like that if he wants to get back into the lead. If the opportunity arises, I'm sure he'll give it a shot, but Robbo and now End Andrews are very close behind, so they can't take too many risks. Of course, no ERS for pretty much both the Red Bull of Devon and Gilly now, because Gilly used all their energy on that one move. The two Mercedes are good to go, and I assume End Andrews, spending a little bit of time behind these guys, has spent some time trying to save some energy. These guys are all running. You can see the flashing light on the back of the two cars in the middle of the sandwich, probably getting very close to the back of the Haas as the Haas goes slightly wide, but still maintains the momentum pretty nicely, not really losing too much at the moment. The two Mercedes are going to be communicating, so they're going to be looking for a move. Is it, Robbo? Okay, interesting stuff. Didn't really stick his nose in far enough, so he had to back out of that one. Otherwise, it would have been game over. But yeah, what I wanted to say, the two Mercedes are going to be communicating somewhat, which is going to be allowing them to figure out the strategy when they're going to be going for the pit stop situation. We might see Dave Raptors take the priority as he is leading, or we could possibly maybe see Robbo going to the pit lane first, Dave Raptors try and fight everybody, and then bring Robbo to the front of the pack. For when we exit the pit lane, we do know that Dave Raptors is going to have to try something a little bit different here because they're getting attacked once again behind. We're also seeing a situation, but that is going to be End Andrews' round, unfortunately. Contact is made with him and Gilly, and there's also contact with, I think, the front wing of Robbo. Ziggy goes through. Robbo's not going to be happy. He drops behind a little bit. Dave Raptors trying to maintain that lead, and he is going to come out in front. Just about. Devon Young, a phenomenal opportunity, but no, he's just going to have to wait a little bit further behind, really maintaining this pressure. And usually I'd say drive smart until the pit stops, but right now it's not working too bad. As long as you're staying in P2 and close to P1, you're fine where you are. If you're doing that job, then keep at it. Robbo is going to have to try and gain that gap back, and Andrews is going to have to try and gain a position and the gap back, which is never going to be easy. As these guys fight very, very hard and make a mistake here and there, this is allowing Zingy to catch up despite being on that very, very tough strategy. So he is making progress, and we could definitely see him later on in this race. Okay, Devon Young. Let's see how this one goes. Pit stops for Gilly and Robbo, making those early stops. A 5-second time penalty for Robbo as he sped into the pit lane. That is never what you want to see. What a shame. And Andrews also taking it into the pit lane for an early stop. These guys going a little bit longer. I'm surprised that we're already seeing pit stops, to be honest. And maybe the MFD is suggesting something else, but I'd say you're probably only going to be doing about 10 laps. Maybe 11 at max on a set of softs. So yeah, a lap early, but it's what they want to do, and they want to go for the undercut. The undercut can at times be very, very powerful. Now, Zingy is going to lead a bit of, well, I say a train. He's going to be right behind Gilly, and he's going to be pretty quick still. Will he be able to keep up with the soft tail runners? I don't know. But yeah, coming out right behind Gilly shows where he is after that issue. He's done a very good job to make the progress, but it's going to be very difficult for him to do too much about it as they go for the overtake into the pit lane. Oh my lord, there was big contact, and Devon Young speeds into the pit lane. Oh no, way too much greed going on there. The car was almost in the wall. I don't know, somebody might have damage. Does Devon Young have damage? They don't, but they are now plagued by that 5-second time penalty, just as Robbo has been. So that is now going to be Gilly and Dave Raptors loving life with this situation. Gilly, does he get a good enough undercut here? His tyres are going to be nice and warm. He might be able to get a good run. If he wants to go for an overtake, I think he's going to have to go for the overtake at turn 6. He's going to have to send it as hard as he possibly can into 4, get the exit. It's not going to matter. Flashy returns into the pit lane. Okay, there's not going to be a safety car. Gets a good run, does Gilly. He's not even going to use his advantage to go for a move just yet. Maybe he's going to try and send it here. He is going to try and send it here. Devon Young keeping it nice and tight, not really giving him that much of an option. So he went a little bit tentative, but he still gets it done. Devon Young going to let that one go. He knows that it's not really worth fighting too hard, to be honest. Unfortunately, after the pit stop situation, Robbo's had a little bit of a problem, and End Andrews actually is now caught out behind Ziggy and Lesjax, who have made pit stops. So they're, in a little bit of a situation right here. They're going to have to push pretty hard if they want to get back to the leading pack. Now, Gilly, Devon Young, he's saved a lot of energy after that pit stop, and he wants to have another go, but I don't think it's going to work too much. Dave Raptors has a 3-second time penalty, and now that's a 1.9-second gap. What is it, 3 seconds? No, it's a 5 seconds, so he did speed into the pit lane as well. Contact between both of those drivers, so there's going to be an investigation, so I think one of those drivers will have something changed later on, I assume. They'll probably try and appeal it. Don't know what will happen. I can't confirm anything. But right now, as it stands, Gilly is the net race leader. He still wants to try and make sure he catches up to Dave Raptors and has a look at going for the move for real. But I don't know. We'll have to see what the situation is. Of course, Gilly fighting with Devon Young. That did create a bit of a gap between himself and Dave Raptors, which is never the intention of a undercut strategy. But it happens. Sometimes you can't control it. That is how it goes. Devon Young, sorry. Interestingly, went from the mediums to the hards. So he didn't want to go onto the soft tyre, which is very strange. Maybe he used too many soft tyres in quali, but maybe he just thought maybe this was the best strategy. I don't know. If you're possibly using really high tyre pressures, then you might want to go for the hards, but I don't think that's the way, to be honest. Alrighty, this is going to be an interesting situation. The battle is going to be split into two after the pit stop situation. Zingy is fighting for position. The longer he can keep Robbo behind, the less likely it is for Robbo to be able to escape time penalty range, of course. We'll see how it goes for him. Things can definitely change up, but Zingy, being on that more disadvantaged tyre, he's going to have to do a lot of defending on the straight and make sure that he keeps his car nice and wide in the corners. It's not going to be easy for Robbo to get past. He also will have the pressure of Andrews to do it. But like I said, Zingy is going to be fighting for position, so he's either going to defend hard or not at all and just try and lose minimum time to the rest of the pack. Everyone's not really that far away, so he has got to be smart about this. No energy left here for Zingy, so he's not actually going to be able to fight on the straight after all. He's going to have to try and look for a switchback, and he does. Brake as late as he possibly dares, and he makes the corner very nicely. He's going to get DRS here on Robbo after compromising his line as well. So he's looking pretty powerful right now. The Mercedes doesn't have any ERS to play with. He is going to attack him into turn 4 to the outside line, eventually decides to, but a tyre in the grass. He's going to lose out there. Unfortunately, that will be that situation sorted. Very, very tricky stuff. He gave it his best shot. He's now going to have to try and hold on with Andrews. Andrews, though, he's going to be pretty quick as well on that soft tyre, just as Robbo is. It's not going to be that straightforward. Is he even going to try and send it already? No, he's just going to wait until the DRS straight, I'm sure. We'll see that change a little bit later on. Devon Young actually made that move on Gilly and is breaking away from Gilly despite being on the more advantageous tyres, which is not what I expected, but he's doing a decent job. Gilly almost within DRS range. I think they'll get DRS as we get to the next lap, though, so we'll be good to go. And Andrews is going to go for the move on Zingy. I don't think Zingy's going to have a chance at getting back through. They do brake as late as they possibly can, and they will challenge somewhat, but DRS will be available in the train for Andrews, I'm sure. It's going to be a pretty difficult position to gain back. Unless there's another mistake from Andrews, that is going to be that one gone. Alrighty, this is the situation. Dave Raptors leads the way on lap 19 out of 25. Can they get redemption here at Brazil? Right now, regardless of if they get this time penalty or not, they're leading the race. They're leading the race very, very nicely. They were very quick around Brazil last season. They actually were leading until the final straight, where they let their teammate go to secure a 1-2 for Alpine and try and keep the championship battle alive for both the constructors and the drivers. This time, he's not worrying about that. His teammate's in P4. He's got a couple cars in between him. He's just going for outright glory, and he's doing a very good job of it. Recently, changing down from traction control medium traction control to no traction control. He's doing a very good job of that. Robbo trying to come back at End Andrews there as End Andrews makes that move, but it wasn't enough in the end. Now, trying to close up to Gilly. They're all on the same tyre, exactly the same tyre right here. It's just about time penalties, which is, of course, towards Robbo's side. End Andrews and Gilly, they don't have any time penalties, so it is for outright position. And, yeah, they've got an interesting situation on their hands, of course. But we'll see how it goes. Gilly is right there now. End Andrews has closed up so much in just a couple corners. DRS available, some ERS available, more or less. They're pretty much equal. DRS will be so powerful. Slipstream will be available as well, just to add to the fun. To the outside line, End Andrews will go, and I think that's going to be the position gain. Gilly is just going to try and make sure that he stays behind End Andrews. Maybe Anders makes a mistake. All he hopes is that Robbo doesn't go for an overtake, because Robbo has that time penalty. So if Gilly can hold on and maybe somebody does make a mistake ahead, then that would be brilliant. So yeah, right now he's praying that Robbo doesn't challenge him, because at the moment with a 5-second time penalty, it's not really looking like there's too much point in fighting. I think you're doing a very good job to hold on to DRS range at the moment. How long will they be able to do that? I don't know, but regardless, with the laps left of this race and the tyre situation, I think they'll probably be able to get to the end, and I think they will have a good chance at securing this P6. I say that, look at that, 17 lap old tyres. That is a long old way, especially in the new game. But we'll find out. He's actually gained time on the cars in front, so he's done a very good job right there. Robbo does have DRS, and he has clear DRS. On Gilly, he is going to go for the move. So he's not actually going to worry about time penalties at all. He's just going to secure the position. And Zingy will catch up a little bit, of course, as he gets slingshots in front, or as he was behind just momentarily. DRS available here for Gilly, and he's going to try and sweep it around the outside. He should have the advantage in straight line speed, and he's probably going to have the advantage on the exit as well. No, Robbo manages to stick it in and keep it going. To the inside line, though, up the hill to turn 6. Gilly he'll have the advantage, he'll have the momentum. Space is still left, very tight. Once again, though, I think the outside line is going to be advantageous, but no, he lets him go, and he actually accidentally lets Zingy go. Not what he was intending at all. Zingy's going to send it to the inside. There's contact. Robbo is going to be furious with that one. Zingy's now to P4. Gilly making a mistake. I do not believe it. He accidentally let the AlphaTauri go through. The AlphaTauri was able to catch up so much while these guys battled that he's now sitting in that P4 position for a possible 12 points here. DRS available for Robbo, however. Shouldn't be too hard to get this move done, depending on the tyre situation. He has the inside line. He's slightly off the racing line. Going to get some marbles. Less grip. I think that's going to be that done. As you can see, he's basically spinning up the wheels on the exit. DRS will be available. He's going to use everything he can of the ERS. He does have the inside line. A bit of lag, which is very confusing to deal with, but he's not going to really be worrying about it too much. Gilly dropping off, despite being on exactly the same tyre as Robbo and a better tyre than Zingy. He's not able to hold on, making a couple mistakes. He's under pressure from Zingy here. He could actually gain a position on the last few laps right now. That would be absolutely incredible for him, of course. Zingy definitely keeping the pressure on and keeping everything exciting as Dave Raptors is about to start lap 24, the penultimate lap of the race, and they will be able to secure that position. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty. Zingy, DRS, ERS, is he going to go for the move now, or is he going to wait to the final lap? He is going to go for the move now. Just to put the pressure on, he's going to wait for the DRS, however. Can he get a good enough exit? That is the question. DRS will be available. He's going to have to make sure that he gets a solid amount of traction out that corner. He's going to have a lot of straight line speed, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move, so he is going to wait for the final lap. The question is, will Robbo now have a clean lap to be able to break away. I don't know. Regardless of the situation, Zingy still seems to have a lot of grip on that hard tyre. He's able to push it pretty hard. Maybe tyre temperature-wise, that could be the situation, but I don't quite know. I don't quite know. Alrighty, we're going to look at the time penalties just for the final time. 3 seconds for End Andrews, so he will actually jump Devon Young here. He won't jump Dave Raptors, however. 5 seconds for Robbo, so Zingy's going to get this position regardless. He doesn't really need to worry too much. We start the final lap of the Grand Prix. When will Zingy go for it? Where will he go for it? That's a retirement, unfortunately, for Les Jacks. To the inside line, he's going to try and make sure that he forces Robbo into a slightly wide line, and it does kind of work. There's contact as he tries to move across the circuit. What a shame. He's in the wall. That's another coming together on the final lap between Zingy and Robbo. That's contact between the two. What a shame. I do not believe it. Ziggy's going for the move on Gilly. Gilly comes back at him, and he's going to try and hold on. There's contact. Gilly's round. No, 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 no. Gilly's round. That is going to be more drama on the final lap. I don't know what to say. What has just happened? Switch up galore. Dave Raptors, though, oblivious to everything behind as he's just been focusing on himself. What a race today. Very, very good job. Comes around the final corner and he's finally going to win his first race in LSI. Dave Raptors wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Finally. That has taken a while. Devon Young is going to secure a P3 as End Andrews will jump up to P2 after that one. Fair play to him to recover. Zingy will get the P4 in the end, and Ziggy will take that P6. Robbo, I think, is going to drop behind Gilly, as Gilly has just about done enough to hold on, and that will be the top 7 sorted. Mikash is going to get that P8 in the end. Fair play to them, joining very late on, as they've actually spent a lot of their time in New York, so a bit jet lag probably. Fair play to them to manage to actually complete this race. Nifajan will manage to get the P9 ahead of JJ, and JJ will score a point. It looked like Nifajan and JJ were fighting for the final point earlier on, but Les Jacks retiring very, very late on will actually promote them both up the order. This is the man to watch, though. What a drive indeed. Second stint, absolutely flawless. Very well deserved. He got a gap, and then after that gap, he just made sure that he maintained it, and he's got a 5.1 second gap between himself and End Andrews. So a very, very good job indeed. That would have been, I think, a 7-second gap, if I'm saying correctly, taking away the time penalty situation. It was actually raining on the final lap there as we go for the in-lap. It's actually raining. It didn't affect the race in the end, but it was at least there. End Andrews goes for driver of the day as he starts P10 and makes his way to P2. I think that's very well deserved. There you go. There is the podium sitter. And for the first time ever, Dave Raptors will win a Grand Prix in LSI. Well done indeed. Dave Raptors wins, and Andrews in P2 of the fastest lap. Devon Young, Zingy, Ziggy Gilly, Robbo, Mikash Nifajan, and JJ finishing off the order. Les Jacks is classed as finished. Retiring earlier on from the session was Flash Eye. Alrighty, go for the race director just in case if we need to. And then, of course, the pit stops to finish everything off. And then we'll be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the... Okay, not welcome back. Hello everybody and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Finally get it done there. That was a pretty hectic one. Our first 35% race distance event finished. And it definitely did not disappoint on the entertainment side of things. Robbo, that was a very, very tricky race. Ups and downs, roller coasters everywhere. Can you take us through quali and the race, please?
Yeah, so quali was pretty good. We got a good result. We ended up getting, I think I got P3 at the end. We went out for our first run. I went out on the same set of tires I used in Q2. So we knew that time wasn't very representative compared to the rest of the grid, but it saved a set of tires for the race. And then the final lap was pretty good. Nothing to really complain about. And then it put us on the second row. Going into the race, we wanted to go medium soft. So sadly, we were a bit distracted by, I think it was Nifo or Gilly's AI, got an instant launch or something.
Right.
But I was able to keep P3, which was solid. Going through the race, the tyres were very bad. They were overheating quite a lot, we thought, on the mediums, despite running pretty low tyre pressures. Not sure if the track temperature was high. And then I think it was End Andrews went for a move, and I ended up getting ring damage. So yeah, it was going good, I guess. 35% was good until Zingy decided to go where there was no space. And then I got spun out, which was a shame, but it is what it is. Not sure where I finished, but when it's not on the podium, I'm not too bothered.
Fair enough. Well, sometimes it doesn't always go your way. It's a very sad sight to see your race end in that way. I do apologise, but we move on to the next one. Qatar, the first ever race we will have there. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, definitely. New track. It's going to be very interesting to see who's got the track learned. Who knows what they're doing with it? I think, is it another 35% full quali?
No, we're doing 250% of short quali from now on with both Las Vegas and Qatar.
Oh, okay, great. So, yeah, the 50% round there is pretty nice. It's such a nice track to drive. Rare overtaking opportunities. It's mainly like turn one, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
It for sure will. Thank you very much. And one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
It's not my race, but Dave is goated.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Great effort today.
Cheers.
We move on to Dave Raptors. Dave Raptors, finally, you've won your first ever LSI race. How does that feel? Redemption for Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling to win, especially on track. I think we ended up winning competitions in Hungary, but to win on track's brilliant. And after so long, it's just a relief to get the first one on the board, really. The race was good. Qualifying, obviously, on pole. I didn't get a slightly... I didn't get a great launch. I think I was struggling with tyre temperatures at the start of the race. And then I was more so just trying to hold on to the lead because I was really struggling with tyre temperatures and I didn't want to lose out too much. I was just trying to keep on staying in the lead, and that kind of worked until the pit stops. There's a little incident on the way into the pits. I need to have a look at it again, but nothing too much really affected my race from that, and just basically just brought it home to the finish. And it's a good race all around.
Yeah, fair enough. Really, really tidy last stint. Well done. That was absolutely epic. Qatar, do you think you can carry some good momentum there? Do you like that circuit?
Well, as Robert said, it's a new track, but from some races I've done recently, it's an all right circuit. It's just you can't. The only overtake, as Robert said, was into turn one. So you've really got to be smart and just stay behind. You've got to stay in the DRS train and not lose out, because I think, especially on this year's game, staying in the DRS is so important.
Yeah, for sure. ERS management as well will be key. Well, I can't really say much more, to be honest. Really well done. Absolutely epic job. Thank you very much for some great racing today. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I love Brazil.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Great job.
Cheers.
And we move on to Gilly. Gilly, that was an interesting one. A bit of a dramatic end to the race. It looked like at some point you were almost about to lead.
Well, the start. Did you see my start? I had a great start.
Your start was absolutely perfect, but there was a moment where you tried to dip 2 wheels into the grass, and you were looking for P1.
What do you think happened there? Was I pushed off, or was I just like in the grass?
I was
I
watching
can't
it
really
live.
remember. I remember going on the grass.
I'm watching it live. I can't really comment. It's probably not the way I saw it. So.
The start was because I pressed my clutch and my brake bias button at the same time, which put my wheel into like compatibility mode, and then I couldn't get the force feedback back, so I had to Alt F4 and restart. And for some reason, my AI is better than me. Then the softs just died straight away. I was thinking, how's he so much quicker on the hards? And then I looked at my softs and they were like 30%. I was like, oh, okay.
Fair enough. Well, I'm surprised about that because I thought the softs would be able to run around this circuit, but never mind. I guess did they just overheat or did they wear?
I definitely put it too early.
Right.
But they just wore, I think.
Fair
After I expected to do like 12 laps easily, or like 10 at least, before they started getting a bit shagged. But yeah, it just went.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess it's a lesson to be learnt. As you head to the next circuit, Qatar, is that a circuit that flows well for you? Do you like it?
I don't know yet. I can't say.
Fair enough. How about track limits then? Do you think you can do well there? Do you think you can nab a couple
That's
positions?
normally where I do well. I don't have pace, but I can stay on track just because I'm so slow.
Fair enough. Well, it's definitely an advantage, and it's got you a couple wins. So well done. All right. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Don't go softs.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo Jan. Nifo, that was a tricky one. Pretty intense for quali, and then obviously disqualified yourself at the end there. But yeah, trying to work your way from the back of the grid. Were you in doubt that you might have lost out on points there at the very end to JJ if Les Jacks didn't retire?
Well, it was I don't think I would have lost the points because JJ spun.
Right.
And I had better tires, so I was pretty confident I was going to keep it. But yeah, the whole race, I mean, I wanted to start from the back, just because the no line and just knowing not where my pace is. I find it very dangerous to start in the middle of the pack because like the moment I misjudge a braking point, if I brake too early, I kill the people behind me. If I brake too late, I could appear in front. Yeah. But I noticed pretty much instantly, like, okay, this track I know where to brake, kind of. Like only the middle sector is a bit tricky, but the rest I kind of knew. So it was fine. Till like lap 7, had a good battle with Mikash, and then I broke like a little bit too late, like 5-10 meters. And I just hit him in the rear. I'm very sorry for that. That was completely my fault. And it ruined his race because, I mean, he lost a lot of time and it ruined my race because my front wing was gone. Yeah, so I had to pit. Yeah, so I pitted for a new front wing. And then, again, a good battle with Mikash. And whoever the guy was, I think the Alpine. I don't know who it was, but it was a good battle between us. And I overtook him. And then, yeah, I don't know if it was tire wear or just my fault or whatever, but I spun into turn 4, I think, at the exit. Lost it, hit the wall. I've crashed that before, so I know the concrete very well. Just wanted to say hi. And then, yeah, I had to pit again, and then JJ told me some concerning words about when I approached him, and he did deliver because he raced me pretty hard and then bumped into me and spun. So, but yeah, it was all friendly, and it wasn't like intentionally try to kill me. But yeah, it was good racing. I'm just very sorry for what I did to Mikash, but it was a fun race all around.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, glad it was entertaining there. Really, really good effort, and yeah, well done to get those points at the end. Even if the car in front did retire, but yeah, great effort. Qatar, you've been there before, I know, because I've raced you there. Do you think you can do well there? Do you like the circuit more importantly, with obviously the new no line? How will that go for you?
Well, I'm gonna keep it short and simple.
Fair enough. I guess that's it. Short and simple.
Yeah.
Well played. Well played. Now I'm a bit scared to ask you what your 3 words are. All right. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I'm sorry, Mikash.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Really good effort today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, that was a tough race. From start to end, you had to work very, very hard. Can you take us through that? What happened at turn 1?
Right, so qualifying, I decided to disqualify myself because I was like, yeah, I'll start at the back with the fast people and Niffle. And so I was like, yeah, that's going to be a good challenge. And Gilly's car went off the line, and I was like, I need to check his game files, but apart from that, it was quite boring. There's a flying Ferrari that just appeared in front of me for some reason. There seemed to be a lot of flying things today. Myself, a Ferrari, and some geese at turn 1. I don't know what that was all about. But I had to push very hard the whole race. And the way to get P5 is simply... It's not good enough. It's horrific. I would never let myself get P5. Like, that's so bad.
Well, you had damage, so you did a good job to recover it, and it wasn't like it was a little bit later on that you'd have perfect tyres to go to the end. It was a pretty awkward place to get damage, so you still did a good job, so don't worry about that. Sure, it was a shorter race than usual, but you still did a good job, so I think you should be a little bit happier than you actually are with that one. Qatar, you like that circuit? Do you think you can do well there? And do you think you'll qualify instead?
For Qatar, I mean, the last time I raced there, I got a 1-2 with you, wasn't it?
I don't remember that race, to be honest.
Yeah, that was quite a good race, actually. So, yeah, no, I think Qatar is one of my stronger tracks, which I'm surprised because it's a new one. But the pace I'm showing around there is very good, especially in previous races. Compared to some of the F1 drivers, I appear to be one of the quickest there, if not the quickest. So I expect nothing less than a podium, well, P2, if not the win.
Awesome. I like to hear that. Well, hopefully it can go well for you there, and get redemption over the race we had today. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Writing for geese.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. We move on to the final interview. Devon Young, that was a heck of a battle early on, trying to go for the win. Second stint, kind of split up a little bit as you fought with Gilly, but still holding on to P2 and then getting the P3 on time penalties. Are you happy with that one?
Honestly, overall, it wasn't a great race, to be honest. I feel like I fumbled a lot. Like, I came into the weekend kind of like expecting to be like firmly battling for the win, but I just sort of messed it up a bit. I mean, at the start of the race, I forgot to turn my tyre pressures down, so they were like extremely high. Like, all of them were over halfway, so my tyres were overheating the whole race, and then I kept like touching the grass and losing a bunch of time. So to be honest, I messed it up big time. But you know, what can you do, I guess?
It's something with the tyre pressures. It's something that you make a mistake and then you'll never do it again. Hopefully, for the future. So it's better that it happens now rather than later, I'm sure. But still, you say that you've made a couple of mistakes, but to fight for a race win that hard and still hold on for P2 for as long as you did, I think that's actually a pretty good job. Usually, if
Yeah.
you fight that hard for a win with a load of cars behind you, you'll drop down the order. But you did a good job of it, so well done. And also, more importantly, thank you for some great entertainment. Of course, that was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Qatar. Do you like that circuit? Do you prefer it over Brazil, or was Brazil just a strong track for you?
Well, answer the first question. Brazil's quite a first track. Yeah, that makes sense. Quite a good track overall. Like I've always been kind of confident around there. So, but I'm not actually going to be racing next week. So I'm off to Silverstone. So
Oh,
see how
enjoy
everyone
that.
else gets
Enjoy
on.
that.
But yeah, I'm not going to be racing. But no, Brazil's quite a strong track. I mean, that's why I kind of came in expecting quite a good result, which I suppose P3 is. But I think I could have fought for a bit more than that. But
Fair enough. Fair
oh well.
enough. Well, it was a great effort. That's all I can say. So you should still be proud of yourself. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
I absolutely fumbled.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy next week, and yeah, thank you
Thank
again.
you, right.
Alrighty, that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time for the Qatar Grand Prix. We'll see you on Tuesday for some more lobbies. Once again, thank you very much, and good night.